Now to Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Dan. Yeah, it was tough out there for those guys to be working. Not fun.
It really has been rough out there. Luckily, we've seen some improvement in the air quality in recent days, mostly because the fires that are still burning are burning in the higher elevations, and most of that smoke is being vented someplace else. It's becoming someone else's problem, unfortunately for them. So we take a live look from the Mount Toro cam today. We're seeing the haze out there. Part of it is some smoke, also a deep marine layer. The marine layer is quite deep, and even though clouds did clear out today, we still have some rather cool air in place. But the air quality is looking pretty decent. A couple spots in the moderate, including the Salinas Valley and the San Lorenzo Valley. All other locations reporting good air quality at the moment. And as for the smoke in the coming days, it will continue to vent away from us, at least from our two main burning fires, the SCU and the Dolan fires. Now, some low-level smoke may sneak back in from Northern California in and around the bay into the day tomorrow. I don't expect any major air quality issues, but it may get a little bit more smoky out there in some low locations around the bay. So if you live in places like Monterey, Salinas, Watsonville, Santa Cruz, well, you may be looking at more moderate air quality tomorrow, perhaps bordering on unhealthy for sensitive groups. So just keep that in mind if you're very sensitive to the smoke. May see some reduction in air quality tomorrow, so one thing to keep in mind. Otherwise, we will probably see some hazy days ahead. Even if our fires locally start to go out, we will see a lot of haze across the region. It's all going to get trapped under this big ridge of high pressure, which is also going to be bringing the heat into the weekend. So I expect it to be hazy and hot as we head forward into the forecast. Out there today, as I mentioned, the low clouds did clear out completely from the bay. We can see that happening from north to south today as our marine layer continues to get squished a bit with the ridge building in over us. So we did get some full sunshine. We didn't see temperatures warm up a ton. We're still in the 60s, for example, Monterey, Salinas, Watsonville, despite the sunshine. Perhaps a bigger warm up on the north side of the bay today. Inland areas still pretty seasonable, if not cool for this time of year, with 70s and 80s for most locations. As we head into tomorrow morning, I do expect the low clouds to return, so they'll be back as you wake up tomorrow morning around the bay. But once again tomorrow afternoon, I expect them to clear back to the coast pretty quickly, with lots of sunshine expected later in the day. And we're going to start to feel that warm up, especially across Santa Cruz County. So we head back into the upper 80s in places like Ben Lomond and Boulder Creek. Scotts Valley back in the 80s, mid 70s in Santa Cruz. Capitola returning to the 70s after some time in the 60s. East shore of the bay still somewhat cool in Castroville and Marina in the 60s, but Watsonville warming into the mid 70s. 70s for Salinas, mid 80s in Hollister, and we're back to the 90-degree range in the Santa Clara Valley. Over to Monterey tomorrow. You're going to stay in the 60s for the most part, 67 right there in Monterey, because you'll still have a northerly wind coming in off of the water. So not a lot of temperature improvement, though you'll have more sunshine just like we saw today, so it may feel nicer for you outside. And then farther south, we're warming up in Carmel Valley and Big Sur into the upper 70s for Soledad and Greenfield, and then some triple digits down south, once again, Parkfield 102. And all these temperatures are just going to keep heading up as we head into the weekend. Take a look at our coastal temps as we move forward. Looks like it's going to be a toasty one on the coast with our average coastal high in the mid 80s. So you got to think this includes places like Pacific Grove, Davenport, etc. So you're going to be on the low end of that. Pacific Grove probably in the upper 70s, but Monterey mid 80s, Santa Cruz in the 90s. Salinas in the 90s on Sunday. It's going to be a toasty one. We'll cool off slowly into next week. And the inland areas will be the hottest. Again, we have that excessive heat watch in place for Saturday through Monday for all inland locations with temperatures in the 90s and 100s for several days straight. So make sure you're ready for that heat.